Chapter 10. Do cool shit, meet cool people. Do everything. If there's one piece of advice I would like to give anyone who doesn't know what they want to do when they grow up, it's to do everything. Anything you start in life has the potential to have a profound effect on you at some point. When you start on something that's small but enjoyable, you find yourself being able to connect things in the craziest ways, like how I found skateboarding in business. Some other opportunities I've experienced were insane. Like, here's an example how I vlogged my way into an events director job with the Front Row Foundation in Canada. It all started in 2010 when I made a promise to myself that I would travel every year no matter what. It didn't matter what my financial situation would be or where I was going to be at the time, I just made a promise to myself not to break it. The year before, I gone to Korea and I loved it. The shitty thing was I hadn't taken enough photos or videos, and I hated that. And I could only remember a few things when the trip was over. My friends would ask me, "Hey, how's Korea?" And all I could say was, "It was amazing and I would love to go again." I could mention the League of Legends finals, being able to eat some good food, but otherwise I had nothing of substance. I felt like a poor conversationalist. In 2015, my then girlfriend and I decided to go to Japan for my birthday. Most of my friends have never been, and they wanted me to tell them what it would be like when I got back. But I didn't want to disappoint them, so I thought to myself, fuck it, I'm not going to tell you how it is, I'll just show you. When I started telling people that I'd vlog the trip, their response was like, "Yo, I totally watched that." So, having begun building hype with my vlog, I needed a camera, and I didn't even have a smartphone at the time, and with a camera, it turned out to be really expensive. I thought about bringing my point and shoot camera, but even then, that was really bulky. Plus, I would have to bring a laptop for editing. Now, luckily, my girlfriend came to the rescue. She had what was then the newest, latest iPhone 4S. It was a whopping 16 gigs of storage. Wow, 2015 was amazing tech. So I started playing around with her phone and downloaded an app called Adobe Clip. It was a primitive video editing app where you literally could do three things: add video, edit the video, and upload it onto YouTube. So that's what I decided. That's all I needed to capture our trip in Japan. The moment our trip began, I started capturing everything from our layover in Vancouver, how much leg room we had, and since my mom's a travel agent, I got bumped up to premium class. Now, I didn't slow down when we landed. I actually documented how we got lost in Japan, where we stayed, what we did, and even how we felt. When we got back to our Airbnb to unwind every day, and my girlfriend would drift off to sleep, and I would actually stay up for another hour or two to edit the clips together into a 6 or 7 minute video. I did this every single day in Japan for 10 days. We would explore, film, and then at night I would edit and upload. My girlfriend and I would then post links on our Facebook page. Now, the video didn't get a ton of views, but that wasn't the point. I did it because my friends and family wanted to see Japan from my point of view. After that trip was over, I stopped vlogging and I went on with my life. It wasn't until a couple months after my friend Will invited me to a Fukinese dinner banquet, and I thought that'd be kind of cool to vlog again. By this time, I had a hand-me-down iPhone, so all I did was download the app and start filming again. Now, after vlogging that banquet, something clicked in me. I decided I was going to vlog about something every week. I knew it would force me to leave the house and hang with my friends. It would also become like a time capsule of events in everyday life. I hated writing, so I thought I could just journal my experience with a video. Every week after that, I vlogged my experiences and travels, and I'm still doing it to this day. I have now over 200 videos in my YouTube channel, and I can revisit these memories with a click of a button. Technology today is amazing. Instead of bulky video cameras like my parents used to have, I could do everything on my phone and shoot and edit and upload and distribute. What that also meant is that anyone can do it. I vlog because I really can't describe my experiences to someone, so I want them to see it for themselves. Vlogging makes me $0. I'm not a famous YouTuber, I'm just a dude who wanted to capture his life, and you can too. I did get one big benefit from vlogging though. In November of 2017, my friend AI was a board member of a charity. He and the chairwoman were discussing how expensive it is to hire a photographer and a videographer for their event. During that conversation, my name came up. "Hey, Wilson knows how to use a camera and edit videos. Why don't we get him to do it?" He showed the chairwoman a few of my videos and the amount of content I put out, they decided that I might be a good fit for the job. When the chairwoman asked me if I was interested in being the front row's events director, I had no idea what the job would entail. I just emailed her back and asked for a full job description. The description she sent me said that my job would be to grant the wishes of people that are braving an illness, to take families on a front row experience, be social, and have a good time. I would have to make phone calls to venues and hotels and restaurants to get discounts, and then document the events as a photographer and videographer. Hang on. So you want to pay me to travel, which is what I'm committed to doing anyways every year, to be social, to use my sales skills to build relationships with hotels, venues, and other places, and then capture moments, which is basically what I've been doing on my own for the last couple of years. Does that sound like fun? Absolutely. Of course I said yes to the opportunity. Now, even though I didn't know what to expect, 1 year later, I've already granted 3 wishes, 1 involving an NHL team in my hometown, 2 in New York, and I've also got a chance to go to San Francisco and San Diego for further education and skills training. When I started vlogging, I never imagined it would lead me to be granting wishes, traveling across North America, building incredible relationships, and most importantly, having fun. This has taught me that as long as you're having fun, keep doing what you're doing, because if you're not, you should stop doing it. Now, here's another example how I met cool people by doing cool shit because I believe in doing it all. Since I told you in an earlier chapter how I became, for a few days, perhaps the richest homeless person in Canada, I'm going to tell you how I got a new mom and dad. Through my success in Grand Prairie selling knives, I learned that being client-facing is very important, especially in product and sales and service. When I was living in my car, I did a lot of appointments, one which was for a couple named Lana and Greg. I was referred to them by a friend of theirs, and I just remember calling Lana and booking the appointment. I recall sitting in the kitchen with Lana's resting bitch face staring right back at me. I was young and very intimidated by her. I did the presentation as usual, mentioning my own personal goals and just to give her a sense of who I was as a person. And then I asked for the sale. She said no, but because I'm not pushy at all, I just closed my book and asked if she could give me referrals. Now, I didn't know this, but Lana actually seen the presentation 3 times before and she never bought anything from anyone. However, just before I left back home, she mentioned that she would call me back and then buy something from me. Now, I've been in sales for 3 years at that point, and I heard that many times. After the summer was over, I didn't really think anything of it. It's just the fact of life in sales. When people say no to you, you just forget about it, like, pretty quickly. Though one day in October, when I was getting out of my car at my girlfriend's house, I got a phone call from a number I didn't recognize. Since I'm in sales, I have a general greeting for calls for numbers I don't know. Hi, Wilson speaking. On the other end, I heard this bright, friendly voice say, "Hi, Wilson, it's Lana. How are you?" And in my head, I was like, who the fuck is Lana? Then she said, "I'm finally ready to buy." With that, I realized it was actually the mom who I found really intimidating in Grand Prairie, and she couldn't be persuaded to buy anything from me or the other people. I was pleasantly surprised. I chatted with her for a few minutes. After we caught up, she said she wanted the whole package, and I was so blown away. What she bought was 10 times the company's average sale. I was over the moon. I wrote up that order right then and there. And it really made my day. I made a lasting impression on her, and I just felt like it was an MMORPG where I raided a dungeon and I beat the boss and I got the treasure. A year after that incident, I went back to Grand Prairie to service my clients. Now, I had no idea where I was going to stay, but either I was going to live at the college again or get a hotel. Now, I didn't have to be homeless this time. Shelter was the least of my worry, but I just started booking my appointments and eventually I got to Lana. "Hey Lana, it's Wilson. How's it going? I'm just calling because your products are due for servicing, and since I'm coming back up to town, I just wanted to swing by and touch everything up." "We'd love to have you," Lana said, "except there's one issue. Greg and I are going to be at the lake house." And I just said, "Hey, that's okay. I can come back next year." But Lana was insistent. No. We want you to come through. Where are you staying?" "I have no idea," I said. "I'll figure it out when I get there." "Okay, well, why don't you house sit for us?" This was unexpected for someone who I've literally seen once in my life and spoken to twice on the phone. But it just goes to show what you can do by building rapport and openly sharing your goals and aspirations. She knew I had good intentions, so obviously I said yes to her offer. She even gave me my own password to get into the house, and then that's all I did. I just worked in my house sat. Now, I've known this family now for over 6 years, and Lana's become my mom away from home. After their son and daughter moved away, I even had my own room downstairs with a new bed and furniture. And did I mention that she's literally the whitest person I know? Like, I think I'm practically the only Chinese person in Grand Prairie when I got there. I even became the adopted Chinese son of this family, and Lana's friends were surprised that she even housed me. After several years of living with Lana and her place, her and I were hanging out in the kitchen, and one day I just decided to ask her, "Hey, why'd you let me into your life?" "Remember how my son plays lacrosse?" she said. "Well, when he was playing for other schools, he had billets that he would live in." I was confused. I was like, "Yeah, and?" "Well, I thought if my son was doing your job, I'd want someone to house him too. So here you are." "Wait, that was it?" "Yep, that's it," she answered. "Was I supposed to do anything else?" That's how I learned what absolute kindness was. This person intimidated me at first and rejected my product, but was still generous when I was in need. Lana wasn't after anything from me. I added no value to her at the time, yet she decided to take a risk. And as a result, I now go above and beyond for her. Whatever product she wants, she can have it for free or discounted. I become a part of the family, and it's just extremely rewarding to have such amazing people around me that believe in me and support me. Most of my friends don't understand why I'm living with white folk like they were my own family. When I explained how this all happened, some of them said there's no way I could do that, or I would have just gotten a hotel. I say it's nice to have family all over the place, and they don't need to be blood. Now let's talk about this book. I decided to write this book because I thought it'd be fun. However, there's more depth to my rationale than just, I want to write a book. In my sales company, books are often given for Christmas and birthdays, and one of the books that was given to me was The Dream Manager by Matthew Kelly. One important idea about the book is that you should write down 100 goals, dreams, and aspirations. They could be anything. Simple, ridiculous, or even be playing a specific song on the guitar, meeting a famous celebrity, traveling somewhere that you've never been, or just buying something materialistic. My list was all over the place. Meet Arnold Schwarzenegger, hit a certain level in sales, make my first music album, and jotted in the corner of one of the pages were the words, "Write a book." Now that list was made in 2014. Jump ahead to 2019 and you would have found me sitting in a coffee shop writing this book. I wasn't driven by the new year, new me, let's write a book kind of mindset. Instead, it was just a case of recognizing opportunity and understand that being an author is just simply living out the current chapters of my life. Let me backtrack a bit to something that happened with the charity I work for. Now, there was a massive 4-day end of the year event that was being planned to raise a lot of money for the foundation. The events director and I spoke about getting some cross-training done so I can help develop a team to do the same thing that's being done in our US division. Now, at the same time, the US events director reached out to me and offered me an opportunity to go to a conference in San Francisco about assisted death. This conference would give us a better understanding of our clients who were braving illnesses and what we could do to have more empathy and sympathy. After that conference, the plan was to fly out to San Diego and help run the charity's end of the year event. I have a close friend who has over 1 million subscribers on his YouTube food channel, and don't worry, I'm going to tie this back in. Now, cooking and eating are his passion, and we rekindled our friendship after not seeing each other since high school, and then I bumped into him at the shopping mall. Now, I've seen his cooking videos before, and I noticed that he was using some no-name knives, and since I sell knives, I just wanted to give him some product. I didn't want any recognition or product promotion on his channel. I just wanted to have some great knives because he cooks a lot, and he's living the YouTube dream. Before our reunion at the mall ended, I just asked him to come to the parking lot with me. We went to my car and I showed him some knives. Then I asked him to make a list of knives that he wanted so I can get it to him as a gift. He wanted to pay, but I refused to take his money. After that, we ended up talking in the parking lot for like 3 hours. Our goals and values were the same. It was just a good time to be friends with him again. A month later, he decided to invite me to his home to be one of his guests on his YouTube channel. Now, I was well received by his community, and I've been on multiple episodes since. So, how does this story relate to writing a book? Well, on one of these food eating episodes with my friend, we were able to have a conversation, and I mentioned my trips to San Francisco and San Diego. People then messaged me on YouTube and Instagram accounts suggesting places to eat or see. And because I've become a yes man, when someone reached out to me on YouTube and asked if they could pick me up from the airport, I immediately agreed. When I arrived at the San Francisco airport, my ride was already waiting, so I loaded my bags into their car and we were off. That trip turned out to be one of the best I'd ever had. The day after, I flew into San Diego for the charity's big event, but I didn't arrive until like 11 p.m. Now beforehand, I asked the event organizer if there was an extra room in the hotel, but I was out of luck. On Facebook, however, someone said they had a friend who had an Airbnb that I could use. Perfect, I thought. When I eventually got to the place, there was a couple already in it. So I thought they were the owners, but I was wrong. They were there for the event too, but what they did was they subletted me the couch to sleep on. So this might sound shady or crazy, but I thought it was the funniest miscommunication about sleeping arrangements ever. Fuck it, I didn't care. I knew I was going to be helping early in the morning and late into the evening anyway, so all I really needed was a place to sleep. Well, that's exactly how it played out. I woke up every day at 6:30 a.m. and I was at the venue by 7 a.m. to help set up and run it. Once the day was over, I was there until 9 p.m. cleaning and setting up for the next day. Because this was a 4-day event, there was a lot of guest speakers, including people from a publishing company, motivational speakers, and entrepreneurs. I had to sign everyone in and then I'd go into the main room to listen. I walked into the publishing company's talk a little tired, brain dead, and was more interested in scrolling through my Instagram on my phone rather than listening. That is until the presenter started talking about how his colleagues were writing books. That comment piqued my interest. He mentioned that a colleague of his who was 20 years old had become a published author, and he pointed to him in the crowd. I saw who he was and I decided to talk to him about his book, and I was curious about what he wrote. After the talk was finished and the entire room got a break, I approached the man and we connected. He talked about how he was a young immigrant, his life was vastly different in the US than it had been back in his motherland. Eventually he asked where I was from, and I said something general like, "Oh, I'm from Canada." I assume most people don't know about provinces, much less Canadian cities. "Oh, where in Canada?" he asked. "Okay, I guess I'll tell him my hometown," I thought, assuming that he would know it. "I'm from Edmonton, Alberta." "No way, I know where Edmonton is." I was shocked that he knew where my hometown was. So I said the first thing that came to mind. "No, the fuck you don't. Nobody knows where Edmonton is." Thankfully, he laughed at that and mentioned that one of his colleagues who was at the conference was from Edmonton too. Seriously? I need to meet this other Edmontonian. This must be serendipity again. So here's the thing. I walked into a presentation about writing a book. I've spoken to someone who wrote a book, and now I'm being introduced to another person who happened to be from my hometown and was also writing a book. To me, that was a sign. Call it fate or the universe, but this little voice in the back of my head recalled the list of 100 dreams. I sat down with the two authors, and then I discovered that I only lived 5 minutes away from the other Edmontonian. At that point, I knew I had to stop dreaming this dream and just get on with it. I knew that I would never get a better chance to write a book, so I committed. I had gone to that conference just intending to help, but coming out of it was this mission. This was going to be a fun way to make money. I always look for the best in situations, so I thought even if it was pretty bad, it wouldn't matter because at least it would be a dream, and I realized it. Now, that isn't where the story ends. The conference was done on Sunday, and I had to stay in San Diego until Monday evening. I needed to pack my shit and leave my subletted couch on Sunday, which meant I was gonna be homeless for that evening. Most of my colleagues were flying back home, so I wouldn't even been able to crash on someone's hotel floor room. Now that didn't really matter to me though. I figured that I would just be able to find a bed and breakfast or a hostel somewhere downtown San Diego. I went to the conference Sunday morning to the work event, and after the morning rush, I hung out with the two authors. Now, I happened to mention that I didn't know where I was going to stay that night and told them the story about the subletted couch. We all had a good laugh at how ridiculous that was, and then several hours later, one of the guys found me and asked if I found a place to stay that night, and I just told him I didn't even look yet. "Hey, well that's good, because I got a place for you," he said. "Wait, what are you talking about?" I made some calls and I got one of my friends who lives on a beachfront house to host you. Are you serious? At that moment, I felt a vibration in my pocket. I pulled out my phone and I saw a message waiting for me. It was the man from the beachfront house. Hey, I heard you need a place to crash. Here's my address. I'll see you tonight. Wow. Bro, I don't even know what to say. And he just said, you don't have to say anything. I got your back. Again, I was grinning from ear to ear, and all I could do was give him a big hug. This was a trip of just letting things happen and saying yes. After the foundation had celebrated its successes that night, I took an Uber to the beachfront house, made another new friend. We had a ton in common. We ended up hanging out to late night talking. And the next morning, he went to work, but he also let me borrow his skateboard. So I cruised around on it for a couple of hours to explore San Diego. Later that day, I packed my stuff, said goodbye, and left for the airport. That week was supposed to be about work. Instead, I experienced many life-affirming moments. This book was a result of those 7 days in Cali. When you do cool shit, you meet cool people. The do everything method pays off eventually. Although it might not show up in your finances at first, chances are though that you'll find a connection to bridge the gap between doing things you want to do and building a financial foundation for the things you enjoy. So here are the chapter 10 summaries. It's fun to try new things. If you don't know what to do something. Now, try to find another mom or dad in a different city. You save a ton of money when you have other parents to live off of. Always accept room and board and rides from strangers. Everything you do will always give you a kickback. Always expect the unexpected, even if you have to wait 4 or 5 years for it. And seriously, if you do cool shit, you'll meet cool people. So go out there and do your version of cool.